pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The notice requirement provided for in the Open Public Meetings Act has been satisfied. Notice of this meeting was properly given and published in the Asbury Park Press on February 24, 2014, Two River Times on February 28, 2014. This notice has been posted at the Township of Middletown Sewerage Authority Administration Building, Township of Middletown Municipal Building, and filed with the Township Clerk. Next is the roll call.
Mr. Ostrander is absent. Mr. Rogers?
Here.
Mrs. Smith? Here. Mr. Stokes?
Here.
Mr. Reed?
Here.
Mrs. Epsing?
Here.
Mrs. Bell? Here.
See, first item is the minutes of the regular meeting.
Of September 5th?
August 18th.
August 18th.
August 18th.
What's September 5th?
Okay, I'm just trying. Motion approved.
Second. Mrs. Smith? Yes. Mr. Stokes?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mrs. Epsing?
Yes.
Mrs. Bell? Yes.
Okay, next item is a consideration of a consent agenda. The consideration of a consent agenda of resolutions 80, 2014 through 83, 2014. Does anyone desire to discuss an individual item on any of these resolutions?
Does anyone have any questions? Moving on. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith? Yes. Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mrs. Epsing?
Yes.
Mrs. Bell? Yes.
Next is the engineer's status report.
Okay, we haven't been doing any support services for Hurricane Sandy recently, but we were doing Main Street repairs still on hold with fire priority items taken President. Pump station, facility plans, the last of the pump station, Open Park was, gas line was installed. This was in the last week and a half or so. And the next step there is obviously the conversions. Emery Drive Pump Station Force Main, we had a meeting, this is a couple, 3 weeks ago. Actually, it was the 25th, with the state FEMA. And after all this time, they asked for a cost benefit evaluation. Apparently we came up low on the cost benefit position on it. So subsequently we provided additional documentation. It's got through Brian, and we'll see where they're at now. After all this time, they asked for this information. It's just ridiculous.
So maybe we'll get the money in 2020?
If we get the money. If we get
21.
the money. You know, I asked them at the meeting, I said, you know, if it becomes a situation of not giving us the full $669,000, if the cost benefit shows it to be $400,000 or $500,000, will we get that? No, it's all or nothing.
So this is part of the EIT, isn't it?
No, this is the,
Oh, FEMA money.
Yeah. And the state was here as well, and the state was pushing, and the guys from FEMA, one of the guys from FEMA was doing what he could do to try to make the thing work. But it's, you just have to shake your head after all this time.
Do you have any thought process as to why all of a sudden now they're coming up with these questions?
No,
Almost 2 years
I
later?
really don't. I mean, you know, I think Brian was giving them the information, you know, and basically they just cranked the numbers and said, well, you know, we didn't have the losses, how could you justify going out there and spending this kind of money for that? We didn't indicate to them. You know, we had problems, we avoided an emergency, we got X amount of residents out there that are affected by it. This pump station affects everything down, several pump stations downstream of this situation. And, you know, if we get into a situation here where we go out of service again and that spill, and we know what's, you know, what the problem is, and we don't remediate it, you know, we try to tie it in with, you know, the consequences of dealing with DEP. And boggles your mind. Logic doesn't seem to enter
It's
into.
called Euro facts.
Do you think maybe they're out of money and they're just looking to give money only where, no?
No, I mean, the funds have been appropriated to the county, the state to give out. And it's a separate pot of money from the initial money to, for example, fix the plant here, something other damage.
Okay.
It's still a pot of money that they don't want to give up, so no matter whose pot it's
They
in.
may want to transfer it over to bonding some places.
And mitigation's a big thing with FEMA, so.
It's supposed to be.
That's what you're handling, that's their buzzword all the time, mitigate it.
That's what they talk a good show.
Yeah, you're trying to do that, and you're not getting anywhere.
NJAC funded projects. We resubmitted the MCC generator project with all the bells and whistles and specs incorporated in there. Set the latest set of plans. We're ready to do the same with several of the other projects. I think what we'd like to do, though, is have a meeting with the authority and the engineering committee to dot the i's, cross the t's on some of the questions that need to be resolved before we're ready to put this out to bid. You know, these submittals should bring us real close to being able to put it out to bid immediately after we give our position. So we're ready for it. Control building, floor slab. Pre-con meeting was held the 29th of August, at which time we advised the contractor of the requirement for the short install as soon as possible. Shot plans scheduled to be submitted in a second. Other than that, there is no question.
Any questions? I don't know, I'm not going to be asleep. Did we approve the construction of this? Did we do this?
Yeah, that's,
Did it all as one?
yeah,
Consent
Okay.
and the consent agenda.
I wasn't sure if we did it all as one.
The next is the director's report. No lost time accidents during the month of August. On the regulatory side of things, we've instituted a monthly meeting with McCullough. We'll get to Marion. And then, basically McCullough has a whole series of repairs they're looking at. And we don't have any information on them yet, but basically, we've shut the plant down, I guess, 3 times in the last couple of weeks while we attempted to repair this one separation that they had. And they kind of said to us that they have a number of them coming.
How long did we shut it down for?
Well, we're down a couple hours.
Yeah, we shut down
Yeah,
between
couple
an hour and 45 minutes each time.
How long can we go during the day without an issue?
2 hours, sort of.
Okay,
Yeah.
are they looking for more than 2 hours at any point in time?
No, the way they arrange it is they empty the lagoon and they shut us off, and then basically they can
Fill the
fill the
lagoon?
lagoon and, work it. But we don't take chances. We call DEP before anything happens.
Yeah.
You know,
Can we
true.
do that at night? Can they do it at night when the flow is less?
Well, at night we could possibly get away with up to 4 hours, something like that. Yeah.
We've offered it, but they've always been able to they've always attempted to work during the day, so,
Cheaper for them.
yeah.
I'm sure it is, but what happens if we get close to the bewitching hour
Well, we just-
turn our
We're turning it
plant
on.
Yeah.
Well, don't
They
you have,
have waiting booths.
don't you have the lagoon to pick it up?
Well,
So you could shut down for 2
Sure.
hours and then you still have the lagoon to fill, so there's more.
They're
Yeah.
Their lagoon, yeah.
How long can their lagoon, how much will it hold? 2 hours, an
A
hour?
About-
million gallons. I believe.
Yeah, it's about 6 hours, they say they get out,
Okay.
So we
we're
got
okay for 8
a
hours?
lot more than 2 hours.
Yeah,
roughly.
Oh,
8 hours.
okay.
Yeah.
But if we're getting close to that, you can call it DEP.
So if we get close, we turn it on and we let McBoa do what they need to do.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, but when you shut down, do you notify the DP?
Yes,
Okay, and the reason for it?
just to be on the safe side.
I don't disagree with you, but the reason also. And
Yeah.
expected time to be down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we let them know McBoa was requested it.
Okay.
And we call them when the station, the plant goes back on.
And that's all documented too.
Yeah, there's a case number that's given to
Okay.
Brian Heiser when that happens.
Okay, I also sent them the letter about the emergency generator. I sent that about a week ago.
And I'm sure they called you immediately?
Not quite. I'm
And they
waiting-
said they just bought one too, right?
I'm actually, I spoke with Keith Henderson, who's their engineer, and, you know, he said I have no trouble talking to you, but it has to go through McBoa, which, so basically I'm waiting to get a call from him one of these days.
Years?
On the revenue side, we're tracking everything very, very close. We're revenue, you know, for July, we're just a hair under, and then we're 3% over for the year, which is good. On the expenses, we're a little bit over this month, but we're almost flat out even for the year. So we're doing good. The volume last month was 5.76 million gallons a day. We've submitted all the data required by Hall and Associates, and they have a second report that they have to put together, and we're just gonna let them do that too. We supplied all the information already. We did receive one check from FEMA, or from the JIP this month, for 16,086. But right after we wrote this, we got another one for 79,000. So we're doing better.
From FEMA
Jeff
or-
or FEMA?
That was a
FEMA.
FEMA.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, you had a chorus going here.
They're both-
No, what, the 16,000 was chip,
Harmonious.
and the 79,000 or thereabouts was.
So FEMA, we're now up to 220-ish?
Yeah.
No,
260 plus
260
7.
something, okay.
Yeah.
So that'd be 340 going on 8,000.
270, okay. 270.
We've got, our Gov Deals auction is going for the two items. It's due September 30th. Collection system, 24 incidents requiring attention during the month. Only 4 blockages. 2 pump station related calls, 2 manhole overflows, and 1 maintenance department repair. We haven't done any dig up projects with J. Fletcher Kramer, but we have 2 that we can do anytime. Oswald, again, we haven't done anything.
What's holding back?
Nothing, we just, I was talking to Fran about getting them going. I guess what they always say is that the projects that get the most attention aren't the most severe ones, they just, the ones you hear about a lot. We're still GPSing basins 7, 9, and 10. We received a proposal from Mazer to do an I&I study in Basin 6. The engineering on it is about $140,000, but the whole project could come in at maybe $550,000 or $600,000. It's a big project, so we're kind of just staring at it a little bit.
What timeframe? How long is it gonna take?
Well, it'll be over the winter. Usually they take a good 4 months, something like that.
At least.
Yes, he was a good one, yeah. Let's see, personnel, our mechanic that was on temporary disabilities decided not to come back. We wish him well. On the practical side, we've advertised for a new mechanic. The maintenance department supervisor who had an operation on his neck, he's been in a couple times. Basically, he's looking for things to do, but hopefully he'll be returning light duty at the end of the month.
Is he permitted to be back in here? if
No,
he's on
not to do
disability?
anything, just to
Just to say hello?
come and say
Agree
hello.
to cut back.
Okay, that's fine,
Yeah.
that's fine, I just don't want him doing anything
Where he gets injured.
while he's on disability.
He's not on disability, right?
No, he's actually paying on his own
Yeah,
time.
this
It was
is
a
his own
elective-
Oh, he's using his sick?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was elective surgery. No new subdivision applications during August, 2 new connections. Let's see, I went to an AEA seminar called Bond Uptake Workshop, Continuing Disclosure. There are a whole new set of regulations for bonds, and we're just plain lucky with this one. Basically, the rules start with a 5-year look back, which goes to 2009, and our bonds were 2008. And then the second part is that all our bonds is through the NJEIP, so we have actually no disclosure to be concerned about. So that was a good one.
I don't know if that's luck or good planning.
Yeah. That was the last plant modification.
It's a really complicated issue too, once you get into it.
To disclose.
Reporting, and it's not, the regional authorities in particular are really hit hard because each of the communities that they represent has to also file. And then with NJEIT, any effect on the state rating it has to be reported.
Ray, one question if I might. What's the status of that fine for that business that could have caused a serious problem with the grease
Oh, the
restaurant?
The restaurant.
yeah.
The owner paid the fine, and we're monitoring the sewer pipe.
Okay, he did pay the fine.
Yeah.
Is he doing anything, the fine is okay, but is he doing anything to stop what he's doing?
In the letter we sent him, we asked for updates from him as a courtesy. Obviously, we can't require, or I didn't require anything in the letter.
Can we
I
inspect?
haven't heard anything from him.
Can we, I mean...
Can we go there and
I wanna-
check his
Yeah, we
place?
can go there and look and follow up with
Right, because we don't
Because
want
I
him
don't
backing
think-
up our whole system.
Yeah, well, the sewers checked, I think it was last checked 4 weeks ago or so.
Yeah, but
Got it
we're
out.
checking the sewer because of him.
Yeah,
We shouldn't have to do that if he gets his act together.
that's correct.
So how are we gonna monitor him to see if has any intention to get his act together?
So the first thing is just looking at going in the restaurant like we do during the course of our normal grease trap
Right.
inspections. And then also monitoring the pipe in front. If he continues not to comply, have a conversation with him and let him know you're still not complying and you're gonna get assessed again.
But he hasn't approached you or let you know what his game plan is?
No, he hasn't provided any information.
We have to do something
Yeah,
with
we
that
want
in
to make
writing.
sure that his game plan isn't, okay, I'll pay the $1,000 and just keep
Doing the same thing.
doing the same thing and causing a catastrophe here where he backs everybody up.
Well, he may just be collecting the grease and disposing of it another way. I mean, that's a game plan. Mostly doesn't dump it in the drain.
By the storm drain. At night.
Nothing.
But I think instead of a phone call, really should a letter be sent to follow up.
A follow-up letter?
Yeah.
A follow-up
Both can be
letter
done.
demanding, what is he doing?
Well, but do we have the right to do that?
What can we do legally? That's,
Well, frankly, I thought that to be, hit with that surcharge would have shaken them enough to take some kind of action, but what can we do legally? We go back in and check and see if it's a continuing situation.
Well,
And if
that's
it is,
what
we
I'm
remind
saying.
him that he's gonna be surcharged again. I guess the surcharges will have to start to increase as our costing.
Okay, do we have anything in the procedure manual, or do we have anything in writing that the board has voted on in terms of setting the penalty?
Well,
I mean, you can't just say, we'll increase it, well, what,
It's reflective of the cost we expend to clean it up.
That's right, it's our costs.
It's our cost.
I don't know if you guys have checked the rules and regs, but my recollection is that we worked on that somewhat when the last time the rules and regs were revised. And you're right, it should be an incremental increase. It shouldn't be stick at $1,000 every time. It should be $1,000 and then increase.
1,500, 2,000, 2,500, 10,000.
It needs to get to a place where he wants to maintain his system properly.
Yeah,
That's what we
exactly.
need.
Where it's more expensive to pay the fine than it is to fix, than to let it go.
Well, it's easier to dispose of it.
I'll
Yeah,
redo
Don't
but
they,
just
can't they
come
sell
along,
that
they pick
grease?
that
I mean,
stuff up.
I thought they could sell that oil and they make money on it.
That's right.
Good God.
To use, not the grease, to use
Yeah.
cooking oil,
Yeah.
they get paid for.
Yeah.
But it's really the grease that congeals in the pipe and causes the blockage.
I'll redo the rules and regs and report back to the board.
Okay,
Yeah, please.
great, thank you.
Brian attended a FEMA hazard mitigation grant program meeting on 19th. That was the one with the state and the county people. And then he also, by telephone, attended a meeting for the Energy Resilience Bank. Let's see, the subdivisions, the only one that's really been active was St. Catherine's Church. They were in just the other day to pay 2 connection fees, so they're moving. And then, let's see, I guess on the future subdivisions from the planning board, there's a Gerard Logan Construction is new, and then the estate of Slidge, that's the one that's now Tanglewood, so that'll be coming off. So I guess that's it for my report.
Does anyone have any further questions?
Okay, let's see, construction fund analysis. Basically, still, says the same. If we go ahead with everything on here, we'll be owe quite a bit of money. We have to just transfer money and we can bring it back into the positive range. But there's a lot of money involved in these projects.
There's a lot of projects that have to be completed.
Yeah.
Well, they're all backing up because the
We're waiting for engineering.
EIT isn't coming through. I mean, that's really what the hooker is here.
Yeah.
So,
Let's see, the budget analysis. This is the end of July, which basically is 7/12, 58% should be down the line. If you look at the salaries, you look at the administrative expenses, and we're tracking real well. Treatment plant, we're under, which is good. Collection system, we're under. The Monmouth County outflow, maintenance reserve, we're over. But basically, we're doing good. Let's see, the staff engineers report next.
We've already purchased a GPS unit for the collections department, so we're going out and GPS and cleanouts and adding that to the records. The training for that was last week. An update on the pump station alarm system. If you remember, we're planning on going to a wireless system. We're in the process of purchasing the equipment needed for the study, so that's proceeding. New Jersey Transit is still reviewing the Fairview Force Main break documentation. I spoke to our insurance company, and there's a $100,000 deductible, so therefore all the money is going to come from New Jersey Transit on this.
Have we paid the expenses out of our pocket so far, or are we waiting?
Yes.
oh, yeah.
No, we
Okay,
paid.
we
Most of
paid
it.
it. Interest is to be added to that. I'm sorry, these bureaucrats delayed and obfuscate, and I'm sick and tired of it.
Rich,
What is the going
We're
interest
not gonna
rate?
get interest from
Can
another
we
state.
do that? We can
We're
do
just-
it, but I don't think we're going
The
to.
state's not gonna pay it. They're just not.
I mean, so do we
They're not
want to
giving
spend out
any
we don't-
indication.
States,
What's going on?
governmental entities don't pay interest on judgments or anything.
Okay.
So,
That was a good thought, though, Tom.
But
I'm sitting
they're
there
giving any
with the-
indication of when they're gonna,
I'm sorry.
They said,
bureaucrats.
I want to say towards the end of this month, they said all the documentation was submitted in
Right,
middle
okay.
or late August, and they said about 30 days from that
okay.
for their review.
So the things are moving, they're not sitting,
Yeah.
normal process.
The Emery Drive pump station grant application, John covered it. I put together a bunch of additional costs or benefits of the project, and dollar amounts to it, and submitted it to the state of FEMA.
They also wanted the number of people affected and all that.
Yeah, the number of people affected and things like that, if the station is out of service, if it was a lot of estimation of the possible future damages to the pump station. Yeah.
How about the current proposed developments in that area? Is that folded in also?
Yeah, it includes the Van Hollow.
And how about the other side?
Which other side?
Oh, this doesn't go in there.
That goes
So strictly Van Hollow.
Okay, so that's good talking. As part of that meeting with the county and the state, they kind of reallocated the energy allocation grant funds that FEMA's grant program. So apparently the township's been reduced to $250,000, and we've been topped up to $250,000. So that's an additional $90,000 or something. As Ray mentioned, we got the check for $16,000 from Chip or Sandy. Then later on, we got the check for FEMA for about $79,000. Yeah, we have one sitting in there for about $240,000. That's cleared the one hurdle that usually takes the longest. So hopefully we'll have that by next meeting. The insurance claim for the fine screen's been submitted. We're still just waiting for the last of the funds to come in so we can do the claim. Coastal discharges group, the report's been, draft report was issued, the revised report was sent out to the Energy Resiliency Bank. Again, they're interested in the cogen project and we're waiting to hear back from them on some comments from us. And then the charts of the flows from the two owners.
That grant we still have on the cogen, that's still hanging there.
Yeah, well, the Energy Resiliency Bank is offering up to 40%. 20% grant up front, 20% grant at the tail end of the project. And then there was the clean energy grant for $1 million, but I think that's going to expire. So
It's going to expire
Next year. We don't seem to have a ghost of a chance later.
Construction has to be completed and started up.
The question was asked too, had to do with, they wanted us to have supplementary fuel, natural gas. And we were specifically.
Yeah,
It's not allowed.
It doesn't, they're not compatible.
When we asked them the question, it was, they're direct,
So it's like,
Right. It doesn't make it fine.
Okay, next is George's report.
The big thing last month was the generator repair. That's significant. I feel much better about that. But other than that, unless there's any
That was the
questions.
radiator, right?
Yeah.
The core. We put it in. So what's left on that? Turbocharger? Do we really have to fix the turbocharger or what a turbocharger?
Probably not unless it fails completely. I don't think it would impact the running of the generator. That's what I've been told at any rate. Because there's two of them on the unit.
Right, but you kind of need that to get the power.
Yeah.
Both of them contribute.
It's not even making any noise or anything, you know. I mean, I don't think it's gonna.
So what was the
explode.
complaint? It was the bearing?
Yeah.
There's no way of overhauling it and put a bearing in?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Is that a big job?
I wouldn't think so. Probably be a day's job.
So why,
Yeah, we could definitely pursue it.
why we take a look at that before we lose the turbocharger?
Absolutely.
Okay, next is the public comments.
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay because of this blower?
Yeah, we can hear you
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, I have some comments. Linda Bound, 19 May Court. Yeah. First one is regarding the blower. You know, for a few meetings it was off and now it's on again, and the noise is actually louder now. In addition to the blowing noise, there's a grinding noise. And it's just above a public seating area. So something really needs to be done about that, or the system needs to be turned off for a little while during meetings or something. Because this is unacceptable. It's completely inaudible from here. It doesn't matter so much if I move up a seat or two. You're talking very softly. The public can't hear if they're sitting here. So I'm going to ask you to please do something about that. There's a number of things you can do. It's not that difficult to address. The other question is about the minutes. The minutes, on the agenda it says minutes of regular meeting. Was that the public session that was approved, or executive session, or both?
Is it public?
Okay, only the public session for the August 18th meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Have the executive session minutes for any meeting held this year been approved yet?
Yes, they're approved during the executive session.
Okay. They're supposed to be approved during public session. May I ask, you know, the law is very, very clear on that.
Can you cite it? Can you cite me the law?
I'm absolutely positive, sir.
Can you cite the statute?
I cannot
that
cite the
says that?
statute. That doesn't make what I'm saying
Well,
incorrect.
I can, and I disagree with your opinion on it.
Okay. We'll see about that. You can, did you speak to the township on this? Because they adopt all of their minutes, executive session and public, during the public portion of the meeting, standard for public meetings. If you do not adopt them during public session, the public has no way of knowing that they were adopted. That's just standard. Action is supposed to be taken in a public session. All right, I wanted to let you also know about a lawsuit that was recently decided, and this, the Island Heights Board of Ed was sued. There were multiple OPRA and OPMA violations that were alleged. The decision in the OPMA counts was in late August, and I just want to read you a couple of the things. I'm going to have to do it from memory because it just went down on my computer. A couple of the OPMA counts, they were found, their executive session resolutions were found to be too vague, providing no meaningful information about the topics to be discussed in executive session. And also, what's the other? Their minutes were also, and this is an OPRA violation, their minutes were found to be overly redacted without sufficient reason given for the redactions. Okay, and it's just come up again. The other OPMA violation, which is the Meetings Act, discussing matters in closed session that ought to have been discussed with the public present. So, I mean, these are just a few of the things, the points that were brought up. The board did lose the case on these things, so they needed to take corrective action. And I bring this to your attention because the purpose is, in telling you about the suit, the purpose is not litigation, the purpose is compliance. So I wanted to bring these things to your attention. And I have to wonder how the court would view things like an inaudible public meeting, or boilerplate minutes, or minutes being adopted in executive session, which are some of the OPMA violations that I think this board is responsible for. So I've brought these things to your attention many, many times. I've asked you to further look into them or to correct them. I mean, how many times? A year, 2 years now, or more. And there have been absolutely no changes. I continue to get advices to the, whether or not these is important to make these corrections. Mr. Leahy disagrees. We'll see. In any case, those are my comments for tonight. I hope that you will correct some of these things and certainly do something about the blower issue so that I can hear in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is the executive session.
Whereas the board has the need to enter into a session which excludes the public to discuss matters pursuant to NJSA 10:4-12 subsections 8 and 9, including matters of personnel. I ask the board to move to enter into executive session.
So moved.
There was a second.
Second.
Mrs. Rogers?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mrs. Absey?
Yes.
And Mrs. Bowden?
Yes.
Can we take a 1-minute break?
Sure, we'll take a break.
Take a 2-minute break.
3 minutes, 5 minutes.
No 5 minutes, 3 minutes max.
Not overdo it.